Pat, the Wolves, after last night, another game where Anthony Edwards looked like his leg was going to need to be amputated, a terrible sprained ankle, and he just shakes it off for like the sixth time this has happened in his career. But with 5 games to go, they could either be the 3 seed or the 8 seed in 2 weeks from now, with how
Yeah,
tight things are.
that was unfortunate that Miami let Memphis beat them at the buzzer last night. That would have They were 108 late in the game, and Miami, I think, is going to make the playoffs in the miserable East, even though they haven't had a good year. But they got the best coach in basketball, and I was thinking they were going to knock them off last night. But I think it all comes down to the game at Memphis, doesn't it? When is that?
That's
A
a
week
big
from
one.
now?
Next Thursday, right?
Now,
Yeah,
what
that's
is,
a big one.
is there what's the tiebreaker? Do we know what do they do? Is it? I suppose if there's more than 2 teams tied, which is a distinct possibility, then we get into more dramatic tiebreakers than just head to head.
I
So
think it goes, yeah, so head to head is the first one. And then after that, isn't it like if it's like a 3-way tie, for instance, is it record against common opponents, which and then maybe I think it's conference after that. I don't think they bring division record into play, but
I gotta say, Rudy's been putting up pretty good numbers lately, hasn't he?
he's kind of back. Yeah.
He's got lots of rebounds, and they've also figured out what shot he should be taking. The dunk. That's 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 what they have him doing. He's very good on dunks, and that's a good idea for them. But yeah, he's been 15 rebounds a game. It's been pretty phenomenal. And they had their team back last night too. Nas had a good game, so. That Brooklyn, they didn't really bury him, but you never had the impression it was one of those. Are they going to lose this game? You never had that impression. And who? How about our guy, D'Lo? That made you want to watch that game and say, how did we ever let D'Lo get away? 13 minutes, 0 for 6.
How about that?
Okay, I'm going to go sit down over here. He was going to. He was going to go back to home where he played his best with the Nets, and he's the same dog that he always was.
Yeah, didn't he said a few things that are out to lunch, but I think when he got to the Lakers like a couple years ago, didn't he say that he felt like the Wolves were holding him back?
Yeah.
And now he can spread his D'Lo wings in Los Angeles where he belongs. And yeah,
Remember
work
last
out well.
year he had a real good game against us, against the Timberwolves, and he had about a month, maybe 6, 7, 8 games, and he was talking about a max and that he was going to get all this money, and somebody was going to because he had found his game again, and they ended up giving him 20-some million or something to stay, I think, but he didn't come close to getting the max that he thought he was going to get.
No.
That trade, though, Pat, is on a short list, probably one of the best in Wolves history. When you
Oh
look at
yeah.
what they got for that guy at
hmm
that time, that is a heist of a trade.
Well, they got an adult who
Yep.
can play, and then
Yep.
they got Nikhil, who's the secret weapon of all time, man. Now he
Yep.
started off the year, and I've said this before. For the first 6 weeks of the season, he was their MVP. Then he had a little snag in the middle, but he's playing great now, and he guards people. Sometimes when you're across the room, you're not watching close. You don't know if you're watching him or McDaniels because they both wear the head thing, and they're not the same size, but they both play the hell
The
out of
Hound.
defense.
Yep.
Defense, and you're looking which one of those guys is that? And what a pickup he's been. And now, do they have him paid, or are they going to have to pay him here pretty soon?
No, he's a free agent. So
Ooh, him and Nas too, right? Him and
yeah,
Nas both.
Naz Reid has a player option that he will 100% opt out of because it's for $15 million. Nikhil is just a straight up unrestricted free agent. And I think people are using the Kentavious Caldwell Pope contract, which is like $20 or $22 million a year. if he keeps let's say they win a playoff series and he keeps playing like this, and he's going to get probably more money than the Wolves can. How far into the second apron does the new ownership want to go next
Yes.
season would be the big question.
And, it's got to be, they got to, Julius is playing well enough that somebody will want him, right? Somebody will sign him.
The Wolves
So
might want to keep
I
him.
know, but you can't. You can't. They're your second apron, baby, aren't you? If you keep him
Well,
and Reed and Naw,
if you
you're
keep all three, you're
second
second
apron.
apron. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I would I think I'd keep Reed and Naw because it's not going to be as expensive, and let Randall go. And I'm not. He's been good since he came back from the injured list. He's been good. He's in shape. He's been more of a he moves the ball instead of having it stay in his hands for 12 seconds, and but I think he's the guy you got to let go. I don't know. Maybe I'm. But
Yeah. I mean,
who
it's,
replaces him? And among these guys is
well, that's the
there's
thing. They
not
don't,
really a 6'8". There's not a 6'8" guy to replace him, is there?
they have more replacements for Nikhil because they've got
Yeah.
those kind of scrappy wing guard type players, Jalen Clark and Terrence Shannon Jr. So from that standpoint of depth, you can actually maybe afford to lose Nikhil more than you can afford to lose one of your bigs. Because right now you have three traditional bigs on your team. You got Gobert, Julius, and Naz Reid, who's more of a wing than a five. And then Luka Garza comes in case break glass in case of emergency if you need a couple minutes here and there. So losing one, if you lost Julius, you and Jaden can play up a little bit in some games, but you do need another sizable body to replace. These are first world problems relative to Wolves history, by the way, that we're talking about here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right. You might have to let him go and say, "Man alive, thanks a lot." And he's not going to be bitter when he leaves here. He came here and got to play and establish himself, and he'll be leaving for 150 million or something. So he should be very happy, don't you? What is he, about 28 or 9?
Nikhil,
He's
was he
that
20?
old,
Is he 27 now? Let's
6
see
or
here.
7, something like that. So
Yeah, he is
somebody who likes to
26. He's 26.
somebody who likes to some team that likes to guard people will be
Yeah.
very happy to get him. Somebody like Denver or somebody.
God, if
'Cause
he stays in the West, yeah, if one of your competitors grabs him, he is the type of player that can like swing a roster a little
He'd be
bit,
good in
you
Denver.
know.
He would be good there.
Denver needs Denver.
Yeah.
You know, that's that guy. He can't continue to be this good as this enormous human being getting older. That basically is a 7'1", 320-pound point guard. It can't continue. He needs help. They got to get him some help.
His body though does make no sense.
No, it
Like
doesn't.
I watch that man run up and down the floor and then do these incredible things, and my brain can't make the two things jibe. You know
Oh
what he does in that body.
no, it's the damnedest thing. And I keep saying this. I'll say it again. Every 7-year-old kid with a 6'11" father in the Baltics is gonna. They're now trying to be him. The league, 15 years from now, that's all we're gonna have in the league is a bunch of big Slovenians who are trying to play like this guy. It's because it's never been seen in the history of the game. He's what he maybe the most unusual. Name me a more unusual athlete than him
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
in
it's
all
crazy.
sports.
And like aesthetically, it's hard to put him in the same category as maybe some of the all-time great players. Just like thinking back, but in terms of effectiveness, efficiency, skills, everything, he is one of the 15 greatest players in the history of the league. Like if right now,
Yes,
Pat,
he is.
if you and I know Duncan won more titles, but
Yes.
who's a better
Oh,
player, Tim Duncan or
he's a
Jokic?
better player. He's a better player than Duncan.
Right? He's
He's
better
a
than
better player.
Garnett. He's better than
Well,
Duncan. Better
the
than
Yeah,
pa-
he's
Shaq.
better than.
the passing makes no sense though. Like that
Yes.
dude throws passes that make him look like like one of the great point guards of all time.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and he doesn't seem to be enormous ego, is he? Is he taunting? He's not like Luca. He's not running around taunting people. He just, well, first of all, when he goes to the bench, he's got to go over there and breathe for about 3 minutes before he can.
Yeah.
He's got to be like, this kid can't be easy to be lumbering around. He's got to be. He's not. I don't know if he's like Luca and he goes home and drinks 42 beers after a game either. So I don't know what his. How much do we know about his personal life and
Well, have
family?
have you
Yeah.
seen his brothers?
Big, huge guys, right?
Oh my God, so
He,
at the Wolves game at the playoffs last year, they were in a suite across from our press seats,
yeah, I
and
saw. That's right.
I brought the binoculars to look at these guys. I'm telling you, these guys could squish you with
Uh,
two
and,
fingers.
and they're not in shape either, right? I mean, they're
No,
350 or something. Those guys, it's unbelievable.
they could play tackle in the National Football League easy.
Yeah, it is phenomenal to say the least. So, gentlemen, I'm trying to write a Willie Castro column. So I
I think
Twins
Pat's
got
Pat's
him.
getting a
think
call here.
I
He's getting
think
a call.
I think Willie's probably
Twins got
calling
him.
him.
Yeah,
I think Willie's probably calling him.
Rocco.
What's happening?
He's gonna
it's
have
Rocco. It's Falvey.
decline that
He was
call.
he was waiting for him in the clubhouse yesterday. Patrick was. How long does Willie take post game? And I was like, well, you never know with some of these guys. Sometimes they're
Oh,
in
he
the
was going to talk to
shower
him
and the
post
work-
game.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to talk to him post game yesterday. So we'll see. I guess what he has. Twins MVP Willie Castro.
That's right.
It shouldn't have been though. Pat's right about that. That was
There we go.
ridiculous.
I got him back.
am I here? Some jackass called me some spam call, and I didn't put it on airplane mode.
Oh boy.
So
Willie Castro's agent.
when
Yeah.
you do that, I don't know. So I called manager Kelly to ask if he, who'd encounter that was that versatile, and if he had anybody, and the only one he really had was hockey, who could play in the outfield, but wasn't exactly an offensive threat like Wally is. But I can tell you that he paid $510 for his snow plowing this year. He thought the guys did a pretty good job, but they really only had to come 3 times. So he probably should have gotten a better deal than that. And he's had some leg problems. He had a hip problem there, and he's cured his hip problem. But he's going to be at the Mauer unveiling of the statue. He's going to make it to that on the 13th, right? On the Sunday, the 13th, next week, I think. And but he's very worried because he's got to go to a baby shower on the 12th, and that's Masters, and he likes to watch the Masters.
Oh,
So
you can't see
but
that's
he's
terrible
gonna,
baby shower scheduling,
yeah,
by
he's
the way.
gonna
You
make it
have to
quick.
check the sports calendar.
He's knowing this little girl, neighbor girl since she was a baby though, so he's got to go to the baby shower. But he's
Baby
it's
showers.
got to be an hour in and out so he
Unnecessary.
can get back and watch the Masters. So,
Yeah, it's
but
tough. Yeah.
talking to TK these days, you get a summary of life and how it's going. So it's amazing. One other personal note: the granddaughter turned 16 today, took her driver's test at 8 a.m. and passed. So she is now
Right.
a
Oh wow. I
licensed
failed
driver.
mine.
Licensed, I did too. Licensed driver, but I had sent out a picture of her on Blue Sky, the very popular social media site that's got up to 500 people on it, I think, and I sent it. I sent it out when she's on her trike at 3, and said, "Soon to be licensed driver." So when she passed, I added it to it today, and I said, she passed at 8 a.m. on her 16th birthday. People thought she died. I should have put test in there.
Oh, it happened again. Blue Sky got you this time.
Yeah, right. No, she's this poor little innocent
Oh,
girl.
no.
She passed at 6. Put
Okay.
test. The way pass is used now, you got to throw the test in there.
I made that mistake a while back, a few years ago, Pat, with an internal email to our faithful president Dan Seaman, who
Yes.
runs Hubbard, Minneapolis,
Yes.
and we were adding some new podcasts to like the Hubbard podcast
Yes.
network, and so I sent him an email, and the subject line was 2-week notice.
Yes.
Well, the podcast we were adding was called 2 Week Notice, and he saw an email from me.
You
It
were
said
done.
2 Week Notice. He's
You
like,
he,
don't ever.
he probably said, "Boy, we can get that guy off the payroll
Exactly.
in 2 weeks."
Oh
That's
man, I was
terrific.
hoping.
Get him off the books.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, you got to. You can't. You got to look at those things a second time, even on the mighty outlet that is Blue Sky.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at this right
pretty
now,
good.
and that is another incredibly curbed
Yeah,
thing.
it is. I've been having the curb moments
She's not
lately.
dead. No, she's not dead.
Oh,
She passed the
yes.
test.
She's fine. She's
Patrick, you bleeping bleep.
fine. Yes.
You
Susie.
stupid.
Susie.
Give me
Wait,
the
so
Susie.
hey, how did you guys both fail your driver's test?
I think I know what I did. It's Slayton, Minnesota. They park cars in the middle of the street, right? And you see that in some of these rural towns,
Yeah.
they start park, got big wide main streets, but then they park in the middle. And on Slayton, I hit the stop sign and took an immediate left instead of going over to the other side of the car. So I was going the wrong way on a one way
Yep.
about 3 minutes.
That's what I did.
That's great.
About 3 minutes into the driver's
Yep.
test. So, but I told you the one about my brother. When he flunked 5 years before me, because when he did the sudden stop in the old man's station wagon, 6 empty beer bottles came flying out from under the passenger seat where my old man would just put his beer bottles in it. He hit it and boom, there went in. The guy said, let's try this again next week.
Oh man.
Clean out your car next time. Take this
my
to the
God.
curb. So, but passing I think now they do them on a ground somewhere. They don't go out on the city, right?
Courses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
courses,
and you know what?
I took mine on
That's
I know.
cultivating bad drivers. I think you got to pass in the real world.
I do. I agree with you. You got to go out and make sure you can handle traffic. I mean, let's face it. Driving from Fulda to Slayton in the 1960s is not driving from Woodbury to Minneapolis in modern times, because you got to know who's on the right and who's on the left. Back then, there was nobody. There was just cars behind you. So it's tough out there right now. But I am sure she's extremely pleased. I haven't talked to her yet. So
And she's alive and well.
She's most importantly.
Most importantly, she's alive and well.
She's alive.
We have not lost her at age 16, even though
Good
I don't know what you're. For a guy who's made his living writing sentences for a long, long time, I ought to look at those more closely before I submit them. Don't you think? even on the mighty outlet that is Blue Sky.
Blue
What
Sky.
a bunch of. I took a shot at Dawn Plitzowite, right, for her young ladies quotes. She keeps calling her players young ladies. This is 1973, and I can't even get them worked up on Blue Sky about that. For
Yeah.
God's
Hey, that's a
sakes.
banner we get to hang though, right?
Oh yeah, hell yes, it'll be there. Yeah, well we won't. Clem's how many? Does Clem have one NIT? We counted one, right? But not the second one.
Did we strip 93?
No,
He
I
won
think
2 NATs, right?
I think we
93 and
stripped
2000.
the second one, didn't we? The
I think
98,
so.
98
The
one.
Lewis and
90
Clark one. Yeah.
Because the first one is, I think, if I'm correct on this, was the year in '93 that they had to play a couple of games at Met Center,
Yes,
right?
no,
And
they
Clem
played
claimed that they
one
were road wins.
Yeah, well, Clem, that was the great one. Clem and Brackett used to argue all the time about whether those were road games or not. I think he played 2 at Met Center and 1 at Target Center.
Target Center.
But he played 3 games at the local arenas. Road victories. If we won 5 road games, then the 2 games at Madison Square Garden were road games too, even though they were road games for both teams. But that actually the 93 one, it was still kind of a good tournament. You had Georgetown. They played Georgetown, and they were, there were 6,000-7,000 people there, and there was a little pub in New York. But it's now, not. What was? Were we already 64 teams in '93? It might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were.
86, I think. First year.
But it was, but But anyway, it was it was kind of we covered it like it meant something. By '98, we were kind of ignoring them. So
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Vashawn Leonard in '93,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Wasn't
that's
he
right.
the
Yeah.
centerpiece there?
How many years are you Sean getting the NBA? 4 or 5? He
Oh,
was.
he played. He was like a good player for the Heat for a few. Let's pull him
He's
up
a
here.
hell of a college player here, man. I
Oh, he
loved
was a
him.
great.
He
Him
was
and
Well,
on
I
those
think he
like
was
Bobby
all
Alonzo
Jackson, my
Mourning
two
Heat
guys.
teams. Yeah.
until wasn't he their all-time leading scorer at one point? I think he was, wasn't he, or close to that, something like that.
He played 11
There's,
years in the NBA, by the way. He
really?
because he was. I forgot about this. He was the starting shooting guard on that Nuggets team, Carmelo's rookie year, that the
Oh,
Wolves
really?
bounced from the playoffs in the 03-04 season.
Wow. Oh, yeah. He was a grumpy guy though. He was not happy. He wanted to be part of the Fab Five, and they didn't recruit him. He was in
Oh,
that.
really?
He's from
Yeah, they
Detroit.
did.
Mm.
Yeah, he was from Detroit, and we got
Interesting.
him because they ran out of money. They ran out of their NIL money by the time they got to Weber and the NIL before it was fashionable back then. Didn't they have to give up? Didn't they have to do the same thing we did?
Yeah.
Vacate a bunch of stuff because of the Fab Five?
Yeah.
What a Final
Bagman.
Four we had here, though. When they
Mm.
were here, who was in that Final Four? Cincinnati, Huggy, smiling with
Indiana, Duke,
Indi-
right?
Indiana, Duke, and was Cincinnati the fourth team
Yep.
with Huggy
Huggy.
Bear? With the Huggy
I
Bear,
think Van Exel. That was Nick Van Exel, right?
Wow.
yes. Huggy
Love that guy.
Bear, proud of his 0.000 graduation rate compared to Duke
Huggy Bear
at
ahead of
one.
his time.
I know he was at one time, and then all of a sudden he got some white kid valedictorian who was his 12th man who graduated. He was the first player they ever had to graduate. Back then, we were supposed to be embarrassed by the failure to graduate. Did we ever? Did we ever retire? I suppose we're not retiring Bobby Jackson's number because of the scandal, huh?
It's so
Is that
dumb.
right?
Let's get
Yes.
over all of that.
Yeah.
And
I
Nico
mean, no.
Medved was asked about the banners, and he kind of jokingly said like, we have to go see if they're still there, but just put them up. Well, who's gonna
Well,
show up to the arena and
Chip
make you
did a
take them
column
down?
Chip
about him.
tried to do a column, did a column,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't let him go look at the banner. They
But they're
wouldn't
in
let him.
store.
They wouldn't let him in look in the storage room. They wouldn't
Yep.
let him go in
This
there.
is like Indiana Jones and the
Chip wanted to
Lost
take a
Ark or
picture of them,
something.
and they
Yes,
are there.
yes, yeah.
So
I think the Big Ten trophies there too for the championship in '97.
get it out. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. What do we care?
Let's sneak in there. By the way, Bob Huggins is a candidate for the McNeese State job right now. Just in case you guys are
Oh,
wondering.
Huggy
West
coming
Virginia
back.
last, right, Phil?
Yeah.
I think Huggy's got pulled over with the red lights behind him a couple of times in
Oh,
recent
he's
years.
had a full life, man.
Yeah, but you know what? Shellman, who you and I worked with, great guy. Uh, Jeff Shellman was the beat writer there, and at the first, they clashed right away because Shellman wanted to write the truth, but they ended up being big buddies. Shellman loves Huggy Bear; he thinks he's the greatest. So I would imagine he'd be a great guy to cover because he just tell you the truth. He didn't
Yep.
try to cover anything up. So
Yep.
I covered him. I think I covered the region before they came here for that Final Four, and I remember Nick coming over. There's a loose ball. Nick's about 12 feet away from it, and some guy, I can't remember where they're playing, is going to reach for it. By the time he reaches for it, Nick's run over there, taking it away, and dribbled it away. Man, was he good! He was something, and you know, he was great. And he and Huggy would be screaming at each other, and it was fantastic.
Bob Huggins, man, what a legend! What a legend! All right, Pat, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see if the Twins can get back to first place here in the next
Yeah, that's
couple
right.
of
We got
days.
knocked out of first place yesterday. It was very heartbreaking. You get two in the bottom of the first, and that's it. I love that Hunter Brown, though. I
He's
love
fun.
that kid. Man, he's got a good arm. Didn't he have? He had a great rookie year, and then he kind of. I don't know how he had a bad year, but man, he's got good stuff.
Yeah.
I love that kid.
Really good stuff.
All right, gentlemen.
See ya.
All
you
right,
later.
there he
Bye.
is, Royce Unchained, Score North.